Mike, check 1 2 1 2. Let's mic you up. Oh, and let's get the other light on. And I think our mics are on. Let's check. 1 2 1 2.
1 2
3 4. Welcome, welcome. Fancy meeting you here.
It is.
Welcome to the Tiffany Show, Kojiko, your TV, Ptbo, and of course, my social media channels. I've got a super special guest with me today. I'm pumped to have a conversation with you, my friend. Nour Mazloum.
Yes.
The new Executive Director of the Downtown Business Improvement Area. How lucky are we?
Thank you. You're too kind.
I'm not. You come packing with experience, economic development. And I know actually you knew the Ptbo and the Kawarthas economic development team. I also know that you were already a Ptbo lover before we transplanted you over here.
I mean, I've spent some days here.
Yeah. Technically, the Tiffany Show is the first media outlet to get Nour for an interview. And we're not really going to talk much business. I kind of want to get to know you.
Okay.
And let the community get to know you in a little bit of a different space before we start splashing you all over the other media channels, right?
Sounds good.
Okay. Nour, can you tell us just a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Kuwait, and I moved to Kingston when I was 18, Queen's University. I lived in Kuwait as a Canadian citizen, so that was an experience on its own. And yeah, now I lived in Kingston for 10 years, and now I'm here for just over a month. It still feels so real to like having just recently moved here. Fun facts about me. That is one thing I struggled with, but I'll say I'm very good at the New York Times spelling bee. I can find those words quite easily.
You can.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you're watching Ptbo Rotary, but for your celebrity spelling bee next year, I think you need to shoulder down Nour.
I love food. I like food.
Oh, yeah.
I also like working out.
I love that you're a foodie and you end up downtown.
Yes, I'm so lucky.
Some of Ontario's best restaurants.
I've tried so many of them, and I'm like making a list. It's like a bucket list. Like, you got to go here and you got to get this.
When you moved to Kingston, were you kind of a downtownie there too?
I did live in downtown Kingston for quite some time.
Nice.
And then towards, I think the last couple of years, I lived in the west end of Kingston, but I worked right downtown. So I was downtown every day.
It's beautiful. Yeah, Kingston is
gorgeous.
Beautiful. It's like, if I couldn't be in Ptbo, Kingston is a good close second for sure. Yeah.
For sure.
New executive director of the DBIA. Of course, you have a history of building community, fostering relationships. Can you maybe just share with us a little bit about that journey, how you got here, what that looks like?
One thing I am very passionate about is connecting people and connecting with people. So back in Kingston, I helped launch the Young Professionals Network, which I'm hoping to, I know Ptbo had one, I'm hoping to bring it back. So I am working with the chamber on bringing that back. And it does stem from that we have young people who are, exiting our universities and also moving to our cities for work that just somehow goes unnoticed, and they tend to leave because they don't feel that sense of community. And I felt that, early on working in Kingston after graduating. My friends moved, COVID hit. More of my friends moved. Living alone, it's like, okay, go to work, and I'm, good friends with the people I work with, but what about that broader network?
Mm-hmm.
And, I started doing that. I see there's a lot of young people in the city, and it's better, like, let's come together and talk to one another.
Yes. And we had a little coffee date a couple weeks ago, but we actually talked about this too, and how like being connected to your community can actually make you live a longer life.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking about life, you don't get here without some sort of inspiration along the way. Is there somebody specifically that's kind of pushed you along or inspired you to go in this direction?
For sure. I'd say my friend and mentor, Donna Gillespie. If it comes to resilient women and who would be the definition of that, it would be her. looked up to her, especially, working for her and getting to know her. And she mentored me along the way. And
Right.
when I told her about the opportunity here in Ptbo, she was like, take it. And she's been nothing but great and supportive.
Having a good mentor in your back pocket, everybody needs to have a mentor. Doesn't matter if you're the executive director of an organization or an employee of an organization, having a mentor and just really push you next level, be a nice soundboard, right?
Yeah.
Give you that advice. What did that mentorship look like between the two of you?
Started off as, she was my boss, and then every now and then I'd ask her questions, and now it's more of phone calls, or like we see each other still. I still go to Kingston.
Well, we've been gone a month.
we're friends too. When it sort of goes from we're hanging out, and then it's like she's like, "Oh, you're quiet. What are you thinking about?" And I was like, "This," and then she gives me unsolicited advice, but I take it. Hey, it's good.
Like, when the advice is good, you don't mind it unsolicited, right?
Yeah.
I've had several co-working relationships, like myself and Simone Dobson, who owns Euphoria Wellness Spa Canoe Cafe, where we are today, the set of the show.
Right.
But you end up just sort of fostering deeper relationships in specific situations. And I know for sure, and Stuart Harrison, who used to be the president of the chamber, who's now Sarah Budd, who I'm sure you've met with already.
Love Sarah.
Yeah. So moments of doubt or adversity in life, other than Donna, is there somebody else that's like really kept you pushing forward?
It is quite rare that I do have moments of doubt, but when I do, and they do come up, I do have a lot of people in my corner that push me, and like a lot of friends, other mentors, like not just Donna. I do have other mentors. We're not naming all of them. There's so many of them.
We're not naming all of you today. She'll tag you in her post.
I'll tag them. Just like I feel like I'll forget somebody.
I know. It's the worst feeling.
So I have a lot of mentors, a lot of great people on my side, pushing me, supporting me, and there's some people out there that I want to prove wrong. So I think that's enough motivation.
Spite is one of my biggest motivators,
For
Nour.
sure.
I've got a bone to pick and something to prove. What are some of those significant challenges that you faced? Undoubtedly, you've had some challenges. Can you maybe share a little bit of that with us and how it's shaped your perspective and maybe the way you move?
As you know, I moved from Kuwait when I was 18 to Kingston, where I knew nobody in Kingston. I knew absolutely no single soul in Kingston. I had to live in a hotel for 4 months because there's also no housing in Kingston. But that I stayed in a hotel right downtown. I would walk and meet people, and I'm a talker. I'll talk to anybody. And, I got to know the community and had to build my network all the way from scratch, all on my own, without knowing anyone there to help me. And a lot of the people that I encountered helped me meet other people. And one thing that I feel like is, that I give back is when I meet someone and I see that they need help, I always offer to help. Or and they're like, "Oh, I'm working on this." It's like, "Okay, let me connect you with this person and that person, and they'll help you." And that's how I think, that is one thing I struggled with. Like the first 2 years in Kingston were rough without knowing anybody.
Oh, yeah.
And when I started meeting people and seeing how kind everyone is, I felt like, okay, I need to give back and, take that kindness forward and help connect people.
That reciprocity is built, right? Especially through community connection.
For sure.
I moved to Ptbo. I knew maybe a couple souls, so I wasn't totally solo, but came basically with nothing and no one, and kind of built similar situation, right? And then all of a sudden you blink an eye and you're like connecting all of these other people together. What do you think? Did you just kind of jump into network? Like, what was your biggest connector? Was it just people at the coffee shop? You just kind of started small and sort of built? Was it strategic, or did it just kind of happen for you?
It wasn't strategic. It wasn't strategic at all. So I started there at Queen. So I met people through class. But to connect with the community, it was funny enough, the first house I moved to in Kingston was owned by a city councillor. So it made it easier to connect through the rest of the community because, I love talking politics and I can talk politics, and, I'd see him and, maintaining the building, and I talked to him, and then I moved out of that building, and then I moved somewhere else where like the owner is super involved in the business community.
Nice.
And he used to sit on the economic development board.
Okay.
And he was like a very well-known guy. And even with him, it's just like he helped connect me too. And I think that's what led me. And I wasn't afraid to go to networking events alone. Like I would see them on, like I remember the one I saw was like on Twitter. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to that.
I love it.
When
It's
Twitter
hard.
was a thing.
I've done it too.
Yeah.
Where I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna go solo, and I don't know what to expect. And it's a little bit scary, but we just gotta jump, right? Yeah. Would that be maybe the advice that you would offer somebody that maybe has just moved to Ptbo and is not quite connected yet?
For sure. Like come out to the networking events. Like you might see me there too. But also volunteer on boards. Like one thing I did, like the first board I volunteered on, I was 18.
Love that.
Like I've always sat on, like there's never been a gap since I was 18 to sit on a board. Like I sat on any board you can imagine.
Really?
Because it's like, oh, there's a board.
Yeah,
let me sit on that.
Well, it's nice because when we don't have our own agendas, and that's exactly who you want to be on a board, is somebody that's got an existing skill set that you can tap into and actually advise and support the organization, and heart's in the right place. I know I always, don't even take me down the board of directors tangent. In the chamber network. Now, the Ptbo Chamber has an amazing board of directors, especially when I was there, phenomenal, learned a lot. But just from being in the chamber network, I also learned a lot about boards, because they can really destroy an organization if you don't have the right people plugged in, right? Like heart's in the right place. Well, do you have advice for people when they're kind of picking an organization, if they're kind of sniffing about looking to get involved in a board?
I mean, do a board that you're passionate about. If you're on the wrong board, you won't thrive. So I'd say choose a cause that you're passionate about, something that will drive you to be productive, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Because when I first joined, I was 18. I did not know what a treasurer's report was.
Fair. That's fair. When I got my first treasurer's report too, I was like, oh,
it's a lot of numbers.
That's a lot of numbers. What does this even mean?
Yeah. So don't be afraid to ask questions. The executives there are mostly pleasant people who are trying to help.
Oh, yeah.
So ask them questions. They do want to see the next generation pick up all these volunteer positions. They want to retire at some point. I hope so. But they want to make sure to leave it for people who are passionate. So don't go to a board if you're not passionate about that cause.
What were some of the boards that you started out? I'm curious now. What are Nour's passions? Dig a little deeper.
Okay, the first one I was on was Sustainable Kingston.
Oh, I forgot. You do have a big green, I guess, big green thumb, big green brain.
I mean, I can propagate a plant.
You can. I've been known to propagate a plant or two.
Yeah, I can propagate plants.
That's awesome, because you and I had this conversation about vertical farming.
Yes.
So now I'm like, oh, okay. What other boards were on your?
Okay, so I sat on that. Oh, that was the first board I sat on. And I sat on the Sexual Assault Center Kingston.
Wow.
I still sit on the Economic Developers Council of Ontario.
That is so amazing. That's a huge role. Yeah.
And I sat on the Kingston DBIA board, but I was a liaison. So I launched their DEI committee.
Oh.
And then through that, because they were put out in a newsletter, they're like, oh, we're looking to start a DEI committee. So
right. And a DEI committee is a
diversity, equity, and inclusion committee.
Amazing.
So I helped write the terms for to be on that committee, and then I was the liaison on the board.
Wow.
To give reports on that committee.
Right.
And then there was an opening on the board, and I applied. I really did not think I was going to get in, because it is an election process.
Right.
And it's the people who do economic development all across Ontario have to vote. And there was like 12 people.
Wow.
And I think there was like only 3 openings, 12 people, and somehow I won. But it was my second year in economic development. Like I haven't built credibility still. Like people don't really know me, but somehow they knew me. I guess they met me at a conference or two.
Right.
And they called me. I don't know. But I somehow won that election, and I've been on that board for 3 years now.
And was your heart, were you like business centric? You went to Queen's. What'd you take?
Philosophy and politics.
Philosophy and politics. Oh, we should be the next prime minister sitting beside us. And yeah, I never know. Yeah. So how long were you at
5
Queen's?
years.
5 years. That's right. So what was the business kind of economic development motivator? Did you just sort of see that need or kind of know people in that space, maybe through your politics passion?
It is more about my politics passion. I would say I do love that side of politics. The business support and that. I'm super passionate about politics and, supporting businesses. And I come from a family of entrepreneurs. Like my father's an entrepreneur, my mother and my dad. And it's a matter of like, I don't know if I'll ever be an entrepreneur, but I do love supporting entrepreneurs.
In your blood, Once you got it, it's you either like fiercely support them or you kind of got that in yourself. I too will always support entrepreneurs. It's like whether I am one or whatever I'm doing is supporting them in that space. Yeah, absolutely. And I got to ask, because I'm super curious, what kind of businesses do your parents own?
Travel agencies.
Oh my God. Really?
Yeah.
That is really neat. Yeah. And did they have multiple businesses or just the one? Did they run it together?
It was just the one,
It's tough, mom and dad in business together, right? Yeah, definitely interesting dynamics at home.
For sure.
But such a different learning lens.
Oh, yeah. I remember like when social media started coming around or, developing a website and like we all had to learn it together.
I love that.
Yeah. Because it's like a family-owned business now, right? So we really had to learn technologies and all of that. Yeah.
That's one thing about entrepreneurs, right? They're so multifaceted because they're almost funneled to at first, like kind of forced to do everything, right? Yeah. What's the name of the travel agency? Can we plug it?
I mean, it's not around anymore.
So. Oh, it's not? Oh,
no, and it was in Kuwait, right?
Oh, and it was in Kuwait. Yeah. Okay, sorry. No, that's my bad. I'm like, what is it? I'm going to go online and check it out. We kind of talked about different community people that sort of like sparked you on your own way. And I think it's interesting because you sort of mentioned your experiences over there, but I actually heard about you in Peterborough through my own network. So you really had a formidable reputation. Yeah, toot toot that horn, because you're destined for greatness, and I just feel like you're going to do amazing things for our downtown. So I'm super pumped. Can you maybe share another moment in life where somebody's kindness has impacted you?
A few years ago, that might be 2 years ago. It's all a blur now. I went on a fitness retreat to Jamaica to support my friend who was running a triathlon.
Cool.
And I wasn't going to participate. I was just there for fun.
Just here for Jamaica.
Just here to be on the beach. Yeah, just to be there on the beach. And somehow I got guilted into running.
You did not.
Yeah, I joined a relay team because like one person wanted to swim, one person wanted to bike, and I was like told like, okay, do you want to run? I was like, I mean, I guess, but I won't be fast. Like I'm just recovering from an injury. Ooh. And I haven't ran or worked out in maybe a year or two. Now, Laura and Chris, who are the organizers of that fitness retreat, were like, pushing me and helped me like leading up to race day. They're like, you can run 7 kilometers. Like, it's fine.
And if somebody's chasing me, maybe.
So I did it. I did okay. I was in a little bit of pain, but after that, they were super kind. But after the trip, they reached out, and I met them only on that trip. Oh, I want to help you heal and recover. And I had the worst hip. Like, I could not walk a kilometer without being in pain.
Oh, really?
From the injury.
Right.
And a lot of it, like, I did physio and all of that, and like it had to be strength training to get me fully recovered. Right. And I used to strength train, and then I stopped, like the whole COVID and then like, being down and like the gym's closing and opening and all of that. So then I just stopped. I was like, I'm just content eating. I'm not doing the second part.
I'm gonna have my snacks.
Yeah, I'll have my snacks. I'll watch TV. All is good. And, they reached out and they're like, we're going to help you heal, and we're going to help you get back on your fitness track because you were doing so great. Like, I used to be a fitness blogger, and I was doing super great.
Cool.
And I was like sponsored by CrossFuel and Popeye supplements.
Neat.
And then like all of that just disappeared from my life. And, they were like, okay, we're going to get you up. We're going to get you back into fitness. And they did. And now I work out every morning at the crack of dawn because of them.
Beautiful.
And they're still my trainers.
Are you going to compete again, do you think?
I'm going back in April.
To Jamaica?
To Jamaica to compete, like on a better health level.
That's fantastic. Is your friend going too?
I think so.
Oh my gosh. Watch for Nour, first place coming at you.
No, Nora will win. Nora will win. She won first place last year. There's no way I'm winning first place.
Wow, what a feat. I mean, even to complete it, right? Like even just completing things like that.
Finish,
yeah, totally. I did a mud girl run, no comparison, but I completed it and it felt so good.
That's good. That's always good.
Right? Yeah. I know. And I thought one of those Spartan ones would be really fun too.
Those look intense.
If the people weren't so intense, I'd probably get behind it. At least with mud run, like everybody's sort of in the same mindset and nobody's racing against each other.
Yeah.
And so when like a perfect stranger is stuck in the mud pit at Mud Girl, you turn around and help them out, right? Where I feel like at Spartan, you just keep running.
Probably.
What a neat story. And Jamaica's got a soft spot in my heart too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I had lost my dad, and then 8 months later I'd lost my dog, and I had changed my job in the same year. So I had just been through a lot last year. And when I went to Jamaica, it was the first time I'd ever been there, and it healed my soul, really and truly. The people, the culture. Yes. The food, the sand, the sun.
Oh
yeah, right. Triathlon's coming.
You can come back with me.
Yeah, right. I'll do one with you. I'll swim.
Perfect.
Wait, is it ocean swimming?
It is open ocean swimming. No,
that's not for me.
it's easier because the salt helps you float.
Sharks.
Oh, you're close enough to the shore.
Oh yeah, is it where they're buoyed sort of off?
Yeah, okay.
All right. Well, safety first. Don't count me out. Let's see what I can get trained for. I wanted to ask you about significant life lessons.
Okay.
Do you have any maybe significant life lessons, principles, values that you stand on your business with?
Growing up and up until like maybe yesterday, my dad always told me, one day you're rich, one day you're poor. Just remember to have fun and work hard. That's something I live by every day. He says it to me like once a week at least.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I want a little motivational talk from Dad. What's your dad's name?
Judah.
Judah, and your mom?
Nadia.
Nadia. Hi, Judah and Nadia. I'm sure she'll tag you in the post as well.
They're not on social, but I'll send her
all right. What is the best thing about life?
I have to say traveling, meeting new people, and trying new food.
Yeah. Are you a big traveler?
Oh, yeah.
How many countries have you been to?
Can't count them at the top of my head right now. I've been to a lot of countries.
That many?
Yes.
Really? Yeah. Is it because of the travel agency with your parents? Like, did you kind of go with them?
I did do a lot of my traveling growing up, and then now that, I'm a career woman, and whenever I take a vacation, you better know I'm out of the country or else I'm not taking a vacation.
Are you really good for taking that time for yourself too?
For sure.
That is so important.
Yeah.
Too many people do not carve that time out to just recharge their soul.
I get it.
I get it.
Yeah.
So you like a bit of adventure. So Ptbo's a good spot for you too, because there's a lot going on in and around our area. You know about Warsaw and the cave diving, the splunking?
Yes.
Have you been?
I haven't been yet.
Oh, I think we should get a little crew together and we can go together. Yeah, that would be fun. All right. Excellent. Dates on. If you want to go splunking with Nour, send me a message. We'll line up a date together. Nour, the floor is yours as we wrap up this interview. If you have a message to share, my new friend, what is that message?
Okay. I know you said no shop talk, but
hey, that's all cool.
Come visit our downtown. It's beautiful.
I love our downtown is beautiful. Take all the photos of the restaurants, the food, the people. We've got the views. It can get a hard rap in the comment sections, but ignore those people because the people that are actually downtown and enjoying it know how good it is. I'm down here every single day.
Me too.
I grew up in downtown Hamilton. At 14 years old, I worked at Jackson Square Mall. So I definitely saw a few things while I was young, up and coming in a big city. And then when I was 16, my dad uprooted us and moved us to Bancroft for 2 years. And then I ended up in Ptbo at 18. Yeah. So I got like the big city, the small town, and I just felt like Ptbo was a perfect size. Right? And what are you loving most about downtown so far?
All the food.
I know. Food is just unbelievable.
It's right on the water too, and I love being super close to the water.
Yes.
I'm a huge paddleboarder.
Oh.
So I've been like trying so hard to like make it to like the paddleboard yoga with somersault.
The paddleboard yoga is
Yes.
unbelievable. Highly, highly, highly recommend.
I know, it looks super cool.
And the canoe museum. I'd love to go down there, right?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's
go. Explore Ptbo Nour. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to Ptbo. I am so thrilled, honestly, to have you as the executive director of downtown. I think you are destined, like I said, for absolute greatness. We are so lucky to have you, and I cannot wait for the rest of the community to see what you do. Shine bright, my friend.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. This has been an episode of The Tiffany Show. Be kind, keep going, and all that good stuff.
Looking to sell your home or cottage? You want to work with someone who knows the market inside and out. Hi, I'm Sarah Evans, born and raised in Ptbo, Ontario. I am very proud to call this great community home. If you are thinking of selling your home, I will find a buyer for you. Contact me today and I can promise to exceed your expectations. 705-768-6278 or visit sarahevans.ca.
Not intended to solicit those currently under contract.
And this brings us to the finale of season 1. What a year. I think January 2024, I hit the ground running, working full-time at GoBro Accounting Tax Law Advisory. Of course, running the Tiffany Show, a bit of emceeing at events, a little bit of social media content creation, and some consulting as well. It has been a wild year, and I definitely could not have done this without the help of some super special people in my life. Euphoria Wellness Spa, Canoe Cafe, all of the staff at the cafe, all of the staff on the spa side, and of course the rooftop, and Simone Dobson. I will love you forever. Thank you for believing in me, and thank you for this beautiful show set. Kojiko, Your TV, Ptbo, Lindsay, the crew over there, David Feely, Johanna, I absolutely love you, all of you. Thank you so much for pumping my tires and encouraging me on. Thank you to all of the fans that watch and tune in and support me and comment and share the episodes. It means, honestly, it means a lot to me. And thank you so much to all of my guests. Thank you for coming on and for sharing a little piece of your heart and soul with us, for sharing a little piece of your story with the rest of the community. Of course, my driving mission is to give a platform to share stories so that we know that we're not alone in our own journeys. Thank you to my husband, Gideon. I absolutely adore you. We've been together for 20 years this year. 2024 marks 20 years together. I definitely would not be here without your calm, cool, collected support. You are absolutely my lighthouse, my anchor. I love you so much. Thank you for getting me here, for cheering me on. Thank you so much for tuning in to The Tiffany Show Season 1 finale. Like I said, Season 2 kicks off September. Watch for that. I am going to take August off, catch my breath a little bit. I already have some guests booked in for you for Season 2, so watch for that. I absolutely love all of you. Thank you so much for being the fuel that pushes me on, that encourages me to keep going and be kind. Enjoy all of Ptbo and all of the Kawarthas. We have so much to offer in this beautiful region. That is a wrap. Lights will go down. What do you say at the end of a show? That's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. That's a wrap.